So far, we've discussed two of the three elements of performance: delivery and conformity. And we've talked about the obligations that each party has in relation to those elements. The third element is really directed at the buyer, and that's payment. Payment for the goods. The buyer's obligation is to pay for the goods upon delivery. When the goods are delivered, the obligation of the buyer to pay has started. Now again, the buyer and the seller can reach an agreement about when payment is necessary, and in most all circumstances, the contract itself would have called for a payment term. But under the CISG, if there's no contractual provision, the buyer must pay for the goods without the need for any request or compliance or any other sort of formality. What this means is that the buyer can't simply say, well, I was waiting for a bill. I was waiting for you to ask me for the money. The buyer's obligation to pay, absent some contractual term, arises immediately upon delivery. In the case of an installment contract in which there are several payments to be made, maybe you're going to pay for the goods in four separate cases, in four different dates. The CISG says that failing to make one payment is a breach. It's a failure of the obligation to pay the price. So failing to make even one payment, where payment is supposed to be made over time, it's as if you did not make any payments in terms of whether a breach has occurred or not. So failing to make a payment is a breach of the obligation to pay the price. If the time for payment is not in the contract, the buyer must pay when the seller places the goods at the buyer's disposal. Now, this could mean when the goods are placed in the hands of the buyer, but it could also mean when the goods are tendered to the buyer and the seller notifies that the goods are here, they're finished, they're ready to pick up on my loading dock. At that point, the buyer has the obligation to pay for the goods when the goods are placed at the disposal of the buyer.